And we're live.
Yeah, we are. So what are you doing tonight, man?
Oh, starting the sky. The sky needs to be done. I'm going to attempt to, and that's all I can say is attempt to, work my way from the back to the front.
Okay.
Whether I succeed in that or not, we shall see. Actually, I think, I'm going to start here, but as I go up, I'm going to mirror it a little bit in the water. But I also have complete idea that I'm going to block off some of the bottom part. There's going to be a foreground that's going to block some of that off. Make sure it's too loud, because even though it doesn't sound too loud to me, other people say it is too loud. I get it quieter.
Yep.
Yeah, this is really sticky, so I don't think I've ever raced with this much on a canvas before. But I'm going to lay down some basic cover. Let's see how this works. Then I'm going to lay them down thicker because they have this protection, supposedly. You might be asking yourself, what are you going to do if that supposed protection isn't real protection? Well, I'm going to just paint over it. I mean, I could do that either way. It's just more work. And if this works this way, it's worth it smelling like cat piss, because that's what that stuff smells like, cat piss. Smells like old cat pee. Yeah, I started also thinking about, I didn't draw the reflection for the serpent, and I didn't draw the reflection for her. So I'm like, how am I going to get away with that? And I know what I'm going to do on the bottom, because I thought, other than just having a warrior, which, that should be enough, but there needs to be something that kind of feels like it's unifying the picture.
Okay.
The series. So I think I'm going to put another stone effigy face down at the bottom. Guess we'll see if I missed any spots on the edges too, huh?
Yeah, I suppose you will.
Good thing I'm starting with a lighter color right there. I don't want to use too much water in this, because I don't want it to take too long to dry, but on the other hand, and then you could get into all the little messy things that it's supposed to get into. And they need more cerulean blue for the sky. So what I want to do is lay down a base coat a block, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to need more. I want to be able to lighten it as I go, because the sun will be that way just a little bit, so it might just barely appear over there. I found also when I was doing winter that painting a thinner version of this doesn't make it clean and smooth.
Yeah.
So there's no real answer to making it clean and smooth, except for painting it, letting it dry, and then going over it and painting it some more with a different coat. So, not too worried about how smooth it is right now. And also, what I'm going to do over this is there's going to be clouds.
Yeah.
So, that's another reason to not be overly concerned with how smooth the sky lays down the first time. I am going to smooth it out as it dries, but I'm also going to mix and see how it weighs down different when I mix some white into it and lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Should be mixing some water into it when I get right up to the yellow, because it's going to blend a little bit and create a nice thin layer of green, which is really natural in the sky at this time of day. And that cave didn't let it down.
Do you know, have you ever heard of an ID10T?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I've known a few that needed to fill that form out.
So tomorrow we have this asynchronous learning day, right? And what that means is all the teachers are going to be in professional development, and the kids can stay home, but they'll have assignments online, right?
Right.
So the way my class is set up, I was just going to have them do it. Like, there's a vocabulary practice that's scheduled for tomorrow, and they were just going to do that. But some of them aren't ready to do that vocab practice yet. So, like, we have to take attendance, which is kind of stupid. And since some of the people can't do that assignment, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to actually take attendance. So I made the vocab assignment. I mean, it's not like they don't have work. I don't want to make it seem like I'm goofing off completely. But I am I'm making 2 assignments, actually. And one of them, it just says 922 attendance, and it's got 1 question. And the question is, are you present? Yes, no, I'm not sure, ask me again later. Okay? And I can set it up to provide feedback if you choose the wrong answer.
How many people do you think are going to fail that?
Well, I'm giving them 2 chances at this. Because there is a correct answer.
Right?
But on one of them, on one of the wrong answers for the feedback, it says, "We're sorry if you're seeing this. You have encountered an ID 10T error. Please try again and choose a different answer."
Now, you should give extra credit for the people that figure out what the ID 10T credit is.
Well, that was the funny part, because I showed, just to make sure I was like not crossing a line, I showed one of my colleagues, and she read it. She's like, "I don't see any problem with that." Like, what's that error mean? I was like, come on now. I mean, I did put hyphens. I was like ID -10 -T, but you know, it's just one of those things. If you're paying attention,
you should know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not surprised. So, really, I am not surprised.
But I just figured it's just something a little, you know, just a little fun.
The thing is that I'm not surprised, right? that is a sad thing, because like I should be like, really? The teacher didn't figure it out, or colleague?
If she didn't notice it right away, I'm not too worried about it. But it was just kind of funny.
Right, and that's, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm surprised that one of your colleagues didn't get it. But, you know, actually I think that it is kind of a genre writer joke that goes back in those circles, our circles.
Oh, I thought it was more of a programming thing.
I thought it came from first time I heard of it was in I want to say Mike Resnick.
Oh yeah.
Talking about World Fantasy Convention.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say that you're wrong, because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm just telling you the first time I heard of it, and that's the circles I thought they came from. But they could be the same circle at that era, at that time.
Yeah.
That would not also surprise me, or also would not surprise me. It's so weird that I'm only able to write small sections of this story. It should just go right along. But the characters just want to be themselves. I'm having a hard time DMing them. No, there's distinction in the ranks. You cannot have this. I'm quite enjoying it though.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing, isn't it? The enjoy hanging out in a world that's not real, but the whole point is that there's a point. And you don't want to get to that point. I feel like I don't want to be ready to ever abandon it. I guess I'm painting off camera now, but I've got a fan up at the top, so I don't have room to paint on camera at the moment.
You're lying. It's a trick.
Yes, it's a misdirection. I'm making you pay attention to this one while I'm secretly preparing to replace a canvas that looks exactly like this and just
done.
Just 2 inches longer.
Yeah.
No, ain't gonna be done. I have to start on the top again.
Yeah, my son, who's in my class, was upset because I wouldn't set the assignment up for tomorrow, today, so he could get it done now. And I'm just like, it's supposed to be for tomorrow. It'll be on tomorrow. It'll open up at midnight. Like, if you want to stay up that late and get it done, it won't take you long. But
does he know what it is yet?
Well, yeah, I mean, he knows. Because I told him about it. And I told everyone there was going to be a vocab practice. But then when I got to thinking of the real work, but when I got to thinking about some of the difficulties of it, because a lot of my stuff is asynchronous. Like, you don't have to do it. Like, it affects your grade immediately, but you know, my thing is, because, like, you know, my boys swim, and there are nights where we're getting home around midnight from a swim meet, and, you know, the boys are exhausted and all that, and they don't want to do homework. And so when I can, I try to make sure that, yeah, it probably should be done today, but it can be done later. Like, there's some room. So, like, the vocab stuff that's due tomorrow, like, that's due, isn't really due. It's just available as of tomorrow. So that, and then the vocab practices, you got to take a test before you can move on to the next one. Some people are behind on their tests. I have to be there for the test. So they can't get completely caught up when I'm not there. which is kind of their fault because, again, they're the ones that didn't do the test when I told them they probably should. But that's okay. Again, I get it. People have scheduling issues. Maybe you're sick, maybe whatever. I don't care as long as it gets done by the end of the 9 weeks. So, but it means some of those people aren't going to be able to do tomorrow's assignment. They should work on other assignments to get caught up, but we'll see. I also know most of our students think that an e-learning day or an asynchronous day is just a day off. That's how they treat it. So I am prepared for that.
So did you explain to your colleague what that meant?
Yeah, I did. I had to explain it to my son too, but he didn't read it. I just told him, I was like, "Do you know what an ID10T error is?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Well, write it down." And he wrote it down, and it took him a minute. He says, "Oh," just he got the joke, but it took him a minute or two. But to be fair, spelling is not his strong suit. At all. I remember he once misspelled spelling on a spelling test.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
It does not bode well.
Part of that's, he's got executive function disorder, and some of that falls right into it. So it's not 100% his fault, but I always say I'm a terrible speller, and yet I think because I write, I've gotten a lot better at it. You know what I mean? Like, there are still some things that, God, I could not spell seizure today. I had to write seizure. Like, I was just training stuff, and I kept switching the I and the E every freaking time.
I before E, except after C, except for
all the things where it doesn't work. Yeah.
Right.
All the weird stuff, like
weird. Cup that's got all that. Yeah, weird neighbor.
Yeah. So, whatever. But it's just one of those things where it's frustrating. But when my students are like, "How do you spell?" They'll say something, and I'm like, "I don't know, wrong." That's how I spell it.
You don't know what?
Oh, they'll say something like, I don't know, like, "How do you spell tranquil?" Which I know how to spell, but normally when they ask me, my first response is, "How do I spell it?" I spell it wrong, and then I just walk away. You guys should not rely on me for your spelling. I am not good. I may be better than you, but I am terrible. Like, spell check is your friend.
You see Larry Correa take Stephen King to task today?
No. About what?
Stephen King was talking crap about Lauren Boebert. And, and how immoral she was, and how the Republicans blah blah blah. And he's like, you snorted enough cocaine to keep to pay for Escobar's hippos. Yeah. So I don't think you're the last person that you should be giving out advice on morality. He absolutely is the last person that should be giving advice on morality, or is among them anyway.
I think what she did was tacky. It was inappropriate, I guess, but it wasn't like...
what she did was on a date, and somebody used a fucking night lens to get it. If you look, she's looking around. She doesn't want that right out in the front and obvious of everyone. If you actually look at what's happening, it's not like she just undid her bra and let her tit hang out.
Right.
She's on a date. She's not old, so, like, she never said that she was like, "Oh, I'm pristine," or whatever. That just gives a misconception. And one bad person represents all of the Republicans. Just like, there's no bad Democrats and no bad Green Party members or no bad, you know what I mean? Like anyone isn't human.
Right. And quite frankly, I mean, I get it's not her
a hip
husband.
job from somebody else as president under the desk, and nobody gave a fuck. She gets felt up by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And they're going to make a big deal about it. Oh, wait a minute. She went to a movie and got felt up. That's the first time that ever happened.
Oh, I thought it was a play.
Well, whatever. A theater.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same idea.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I'm like, was the boyfriend underage? No.
Right.
Do I really want to, see this in public? No. But at the same time, would I have done that with my own wife?
Yeah. There's a lot of things I don't want to see in public.
Right. But I'm like, really? That's the worst you got? That?
Yeah, it's
so,
just crap. But
what bothers me about
talking shit about that is just ironic, since this is the same guy that did all kinds of horrendous shit in his day.
Well,
he himself said that when he wrote The Shining.
Oh, I know, but and he would complain about the right trying to legislate morality and all this stuff, which they should not do. And I don't agree with anyone who tries to legislate morality.
You can't. That's the argument against the left too. You can't.
Well, I'm just saying
good behavior.
But I know Stephen King has complained about that kind of thing.
Yeah, but
for him to turn around and say something about that is just hypocritical.
Yeah, well, that's what Larry Correa was getting at. But I find that also interesting. After he gave a recommendation to Joe Biden's kid Hunter as such a great, he's just a great person.
Oh,
like, really? You're the same guy that's just trying to say shit about a girl whose boyfriend was having a good time.
So he's misogynistic.
Oh no.
It's okay for Hunter to go out and spend money on hookers and blow, but
guns.
Can't.
Guns are okay for the Bidens.
Yeah.
They're just not okay for gatekeep public.
Yeah, it just seems hypocritical to me.
It's definitely hypocritical. And it's more than hypocritical because, like you said, not only did he do wrong, he's actually supporting people that did wronger and trying to go after a woman.
Yeah,
all the stuff that he's not supposed to be doing.
You would think feminists would pounce all over that. No,
she's not black and she's Republican, so.
Well, okay.
She was the only Republican to win in Colorado. Right?
She also got in trouble for vaping, which she's not supposed to do in the theater.
For what?
Although I don't exactly know why, but I've never quite understood. I mean, other than it's kind of annoying to other people. Like, I wouldn't do it, in a theater.
I didn't hear what you said. For what?
Oh, she was vaping.
Oh, vaping?
Yeah, that's why she got kicked out.
Yeah.
She tried to deny it.
But she wasn't smoking pot, and she wasn't a leftist. Like, if it would have been Hunter, he would have got kicked out.
Those things where I'm just like, man, I don't.
Yeah, it's crap.
Again, I don't.
No, I'm really not saying, oh, we should come down on Hunter for every little thing and blah blah blah. But it's a mirror, is what I guess what I'm getting at is, like, you can't say this one's doing wrong while you're supporting somebody else who's doing the same damn thing, you know?
Or worse. I mean, again, vaping, which is legal, versus crack pipes, not so legal.
Right,
you know,
right.
Boyfriend is not the same thing as prostitute. I wasn't getting
that far into it. I was just trying to say that, you know, she's not the only one that's done something wrong, and she's far from the worst of what's been done wrong in the current day and age.
Yeah, and she should be embarrassed by it. I mean, I'm sorry, but again, you got caught doing something like that, and it's not the end of the world. It's not criminal. Whatever.
Well,
it's
I think
unseemly.
I think it's more a case of her not knowing what to expect from the paparazzi, you know?
Yeah, it could be.
If she wasn't so young, she would realize that they are going to look for that shit.
Yeah.
I think, you know, she actually said some stuff to, you know, to that degree when supporting commentary about Trump. So, like, she's got to know if they're out to get someone, they're going to be out to get everyone that fits that.
Right.
I don't want to say mold, but I thought it was interesting that Stephen King's piping up and Larry Correa's like, yeah, and you did enough coke to support Pablo Escobar's hippo heaven. I thought that was amusing, so I guess.
It's always kind of surprised me how poor they were before he got published. Like they were, like Stephen King would turn off the electricity to their home during the summer because they didn't need the heat. I mean, we're talking some poor stuff.
No, that's just me.
Well, okay,
we do it the other way around in Maine nowadays. That they can't turn off your electricity if you've got a kid or disabled or whatever. Yeah. In the winter time, they can do that in the summertime, but they can't do it in the winter time. So you pay your bills in the summertime, and in the winter time, they can't shut it off.
Well. Yeah, we do this. I think Indiana's the same way, which is fine.
Yeah, and I don't know how true all the shit that Stephen King says is because he's been proven to be a liar.
Well, he writes fiction. We all liars.
Which is, you know, lying for a living.
Yeah. But, yeah, whatever.
It's not bearing false witness, but it's lying.
It's one of those things where, I mean, my mom was the kind of Stephen King fan that, you know, her name was automatically put on the list for the book at the library as soon as it came in. Like she wasn't going to spend money on books when she came out of the library, but she was always first on the list, and you know, just read everything that Stephen King wrote, and. That's just, you know, I grew up on Stephen King.
Don't get me wrong, I did too. I read a lot of his stuff when I was
I've probably read more of his stuff than any other single author.
Oh, I haven't.
Oh, well.
but that was a jumping off point. But, you know, and for me, it was a jumping off point as an adolescent. I really kind of outgrew him very quickly. Long about the time he did Misery of the Dark Half. One of them kind of was my okay, I can take a break from him for a while. But I was reading other authors, like I was reading Kuntz and I was reading John Saul was a big one for me when I was younger. Now he doesn't publish anything anymore. And he kind of had a recipe fiction going on there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was horror, but it was psychological horror, and it was all, almost invariably, it was like, there's a secret in this small town, and these people just moved to the town, and that's pretty much his standard. Which I'm okay with having one, you know. Just after a while, you know, you're like, yeah, well, that's going to be what I expect from him, right?
Right.
Ian Koontz I liked because he did hop around. Sometimes he did horror, outright horror. He did sci-fi. He did thriller. He kind of had a variety of where he was going. Yeah, I ate all that stuff up, but I cut my teeth on Stephen King after I cut my teeth on Conan pastiches and The Hobbit, and I started off with Edgar Rice Burroughs, Tarzan. It was really one of those consistent things I had. One of the few consistent things I had throughout my early life was someone would read that stuff to me. Ah. This definitely makes it easier for me to leave everything else alone and paint one side than the other. It doesn't really let me mess around too much in any other places.
So, you know how Stephen King's written in all kinds of different genres, but have you ever read any of the horror stuff from Orson Scott Card?
No.
Yeah. There's one book of his that I didn't actually know it was Orson Scott Card when I read it. Like, I don't know how I got a hold of it.
I read Peter Anthony's horror book.
Oh, I have not done that.
No?
Yeah.
What was it called? I want to say like Firefly or something like that. Let's look it up.
Well,
But yeah, it's interesting. It's not something you'd expect from him. Just like you're saying with us and Scott Clark.
Well, I don't know. Just
Huh?
it's just an odd, one of those odd things. Like I never think of Orson Scott Card as being a horror writer, but I mean it definitely is a horror story. And
What?
but
What is a horror story?
Lost Boys by Orson Scott Card.
Oh, yep.
And
Okay.
it's
I thought that was something. I thought that was something else.
it's kind of weird, but
Oh.
anyway. Your painting is looking very Ukrainian flagish right now.
Ouch.
Sorry.
These are just the base colors, man.
Yeah, it's okay, man. It's all right. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. But you definitely have those colors, and I know, especially the way you paint. My goodness, like 1 minute it looks one way, and then the next minute it's like, oh, well, that's dramatically different. I told you last time. It was like, I'll watch you do something, and I'll think, what the heck is he doing? And then a few minutes later, it's like, oh, well, that looks good. Well, it is. I mean, I understand the process. I just commenting.
I'm not as defensive as I sound.
Oh,
I know this color pattern. It's actually a common chrome and desert type color pattern, but it's going to change because there's going to be clouds in the sky that have purples and, well, yeah, I guess a little bit of purple, pinks, oranges, things of that nature. But I have to have a starting point.
I got a writing question for you. Get your opinion on this. So, last night I was kind of just tinkering with something. And I know who I want my protagonist for this thing to be and all this stuff. Like I just kind of, kind of thinking about what to write next and whatnot. And just kind of practicing, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. Kind of like you're sketching instead of really trying to finish out something. Whatever. Anyway, and the introduction that I want for this story is not from the narrator, not from the protagonist's point of view.
Okay.
Because
so first, before you go on, I want to ask one question.
Okay.
What narrative mode are you using?
What?
What narrative mode are you using?
I cannot hear you.
What narrative mode are you using?
What narrative mode am I using?
Yeah, what narrative mode are you using?
I don't even know what that means.
A narrative mode?
Yeah.
First person past tense. Second person.
Oh.
First person future tense.
Okay.
Those are narrative modes.
Okay. That's vastly different from rhetorical modes.
Okay.
Vastly different.
That's not what I asked though.
I know, but I'm just...
I didn't ask about a rhetorical mode.
It's just terminology that isn't... It's close to something that I know, but not something that I've not normally seen it referred to that way, which is fine. Because there's a lot of stuff like that. You can find different terms for whatever. All right. So this is a third-person point of view, past tense.
Third-person limited?
What?
Limited?
It will be. Like, technically it's still limited because... Well, I'm just saying, technically it's limited because other than the introduction...
all right, hold on a second. You're good. I just wanted to know what... Because that makes a difference for me when you're talking about writing in a character that's not going to show up in the beginning.
Well, he does. That's kind of the point, is that...
no, I mean in the beginning of the point of view.
Right. So it's kind of like,
I guess, not the same thing.
Yeah. But well, here we'll use this as an example because it's very, very close. In fact, when I was toying around with this, I thought about stealing for myself. So, in my novel that I'm working on, there's that scene with the drow chick in the web.
Yeah.
And that's definitely told from her perspective. Like, there's a knife that comes into it. Like, it's all from her perspective.
Right.
And I don't think starting off a story like that necessarily is going to be like. I think that's more confusing than what I'm doing with this, which is kind of a similar situation. But I thought it's better to show outside the sack first and have the character emerge out of it so that the reader knows what's going on, even though it's not the same point of view. Like, I get it would be there's confusion on the protagonist's from the protagonist's point of view, and I can show that. I mean, I can try to heighten that for the reader. But I'm really worried that much confusion would be too confusing. So I'm thinking, start off outside of the narrator to introduce the narrator, and then once the narrator is actually there, or the protagonist, not the narrator, sorry. So describe the scene, introduce the protagonist, and from that point on, we stick with the protagonist's point of view. So we don't get anyone else.
All right. So, are you specifically talking about that druid or drow?
Well, no. I'm just saying it's the same kind of situation.
All right.
Sort
well,
of.
I'm going to use that as my end of it.
Okay. Which I could have done the same thing with that thing with drow.
I'm not. It's not. Hold on. So, in my mind, if you think it's too confusing with the drow, for instance,
yeah,
I would ask myself why it's confusing first. But so if you wanted to hear, all right, here's my end of it. It's really hard to put this succinctly because I'm thinking 5 different things at the same time. I'm sure you are something like that too.
Yeah.
So. If you wanted to describe your main character, but you can't describe him from the main character's point of view, right?
Right.
This is a good way of saying what I'm thinking. I would set that scene up from a different point of view, like the entire scene. So. What I'm saying is, in the drow instance, say the high priest or priestess or whatever the situation is,
Yeah.
I would do everything from her point of view, even right up to where that drow describes what she saw. You understand what I'm saying without saying?
Yeah.
So I think you could do that and get away with it. So you could introduce that scene where it's really the high priest's point of view, and you can introduce that character altogether. That character, well, where we're seeing that character for the first time, and then later on, when you're describing that character, we already have an image of her in our head.
Right.
But you can't do that from her point of view, right?
Right.
So, whereas the situation that your character's in at the beginning, when before the knife shows up,
yeah.
You can do that from a different perspective, from that high priestess perspective or whatever, and see all the visceral stuff to it.
Right.
And then when you switch to her character later on, all you have to do is have a simple flashback. Not really flashback, but short memory. You know what I mean?
Well,
and then,
yeah, I
then
do.
you're right back. You related those characters together. And I'm saying it really roughly because I'm trying to avoid actually saying what's happening in your story.
Right. And that's cool in the novel, and I have no, which is funny because
I'm just asking if that helps with the question that you're asking. Like, is that applicable also to what you're asking? It's a short story that you're talking about, like the one that we've been reading.
If it's a short story, I don't feel like I've necessarily given. It doesn't, like, the way I kind of thought about it for the short story, like, I want to stick with one point of view normally.
Right.
And this isn't really
as
anything.
Close to as you can.
Right. But it's not necessarily, how do I put this? It's not really anyone's point of view, I guess. It's like I'm not getting inside a character's head.
So you want to start off omniscient and then work your way in?
Yeah, I'm kind of starting off omniscient and then I'm focusing it on limited. Which I don't think, again.
That. Wasn't it like David Farland that was talking about Hemingway doing that? He'd start off describing a city in a block, and then like from the city, then the block, then the neighborhood, then the block, then the house, and then go in. And then when he ended the story, he'd do it the exact opposite way.
Yeah.
I'm asking because that's what I seem to remember David Farland saying at one point in time.
I don't know if he said it, but I think that sounds about right.
I actually think he said it in the Daily Kit.
Well, I mean, it might have. That's
when he used to do the Daily Kits, which he stopped doing before he died.
Right.
Just making that distinction. I know he died, so then you keep it up, you know.
Yeah, that was a sudden death, man. That's just terrible. Like,
Yeah, well,
it's just
that
weird.
He slipped and fell down the stairs, man. I mean, like,
Oh, I know, I get it.
that's the kind of sudden death you really don't. What are you gonna do?
Right. I just. It's way too soon. But
kind of feel sad for Mary.
yeah.
Didn't he just have a heart attack or something? Come out of the hospital?
I don't know.
And that was part of the cause because he lost consciousness or blood flow. I don't remember. It's something like that, though. Either way, yeah. West Ukrainian now?
Yeah. Now it's more like egg yolk and. God, I spent. This is how writers procrastinate. I spent, I don't know how long last night.
How some writers
looking for the name of the right color of yellow green. Because, far be it for me to say yellow green. No. I have to have the exact right color. Because.
Oh, you didn't name it after a grainy apple or something like that?
Nah.
Because, it's like, that's getting cliche too. You can't say brown skin, you have to say mocha. And now it's like, oh, you said mocha on coffee, and now you have to do something else.
Yeah,
the only type
this was somebody's eye color.
The only type of food that I ever made sense to me to do that with was an eye color, and that was root beer candy brown.
Huh.
Because there's a specific color when you hold root beer candy up to the light.
Yeah.
That's not dark brown and it's not hazel. It's, somewhere in the middle there. I found that interesting anyway.
Yeah, the rules that some people want to put on writing, I swear.
What's that?
The rules that some people want to put on how you describe characters, and it's like,
right.
You're just trying to be a gatekeeper. Like, I'm sorry, like you're not worried about who it's going to offend. You're just trying to say that you can decide, this is the right way. And it's going to be right for about 1 year, and then the next year it's going to be something else.
Yeah, it's those people that are offended by everything anyway.
Yeah.
We find reasons to be offended, and that's just sad, Like, what was it I was singing that? Somebody was singing. I was just saying that to my wife this morning. There's something that I saw that they were complaining about. Then I'm like, how perfect does your life have to be? How great does your life have to be to nitpick on such a level? To have to nitpick on such a level to find something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, wow, there's some things it's just like, really? Oh, you know what it was. This is even more ridiculous. So, the new white patriarchy thing that we're trying to hold people down with is, get this, crossword puzzles.
What?
Most crossword puzzles are made by old white guys.
Really? I figured it'd be a bunch of old white women, but whatever.
It's the patriarchy. I'm sure that it's a bunch of shit. Altogether, it's just crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's just sad.
Like that's really what we're doing is like we're getting together and all the white guys over a certain age that want it to be, like so that you're safe to shop and don't have to bow down to somebody because they feel like your ancestors are oppressed with theirs and they don't even know you. Yeah. We all got together and we're all like, yeah, I know how we keep them under control. Crossword puzzles, because those people like to read and play crossword puzzles.
Oh, yeah.
We're hiding messages in Sudoku.
How are you supposed to have a spy write down his observations unobtrusively without a crossword puzzle?
That's just, oh man,
That's a little
yeah, like
ridiculous.
that's what I was saying to him, man. I'm like, how miserable must your good life be for you to have to find something wrong with crossword puzzles?
Yeah.
If you don't like them, don't play them. Like, it's not like because they're in the New York Times, you're forced to play them.
Which is funny, because think about who the main audience for the New York Times is.
Right, it just cracks me up. Right.
Oh my goodness.
You want to talk about gatekeepers, right?
That was one of my favorite things about when I saw Eric July talking about. I mean, his point was that that the actors and the and all this stuff, you think they know how to do it right and whatnot. They can go out and make their own stuff. They can hire their own writers. They can.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't need to have. You don't need to have whatever Universal and Paramount and all those things are. Studios. God.
Production company?
Yeah, studios. You don't have to have or you can make your own studio. It's like
many of them have.
Well, actually, and they should.
I'm saying if you watch at the beginning of a lot of movies, their personal studios are involved in that too.
Well, it's because they want more money.
What's going on is the writers' strike.
Right. And he was kind of talking about that.
Why are the writers striking? Well, that's the actual subject, though. So
But I mean, part of his message about there's really no reason why you can't go out and like he was talking about. There's years ago he never would have been able to have his channel because the channel that kind of thing didn't exist. So being on the television or being on a screen, was behind several layers of gatekeepers.
Okay, so I was trying to avoid this, but Russell Brand.
Oh.
Well, I'm just saying, like literally his government, and I can send you a copy of the letter.
I know they tried to get him demonetized, despite the
fact
that
they have gotten him demonetized. He's demonetized on several platforms because they sent a letter to several platforms wanting them to demonetize. Yeah.
Which is
wanting
evil.
them to demonetize them. The problem is that they're convicting him before he's even doing anything. That's like saying somebody said something about you, so you're no longer allowed to work, earn money, speak. It's not the money. It's them making that threat. They know they're going to pull the channel or whatever and make it so that his voice is not heard. And I'm not a Russell Brand fan. My wife is. But, whatever. You know what I mean?
I find him annoying.
Well, I don't find him at all. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like I think I've watched about a minute and a half of him talking, and that was in defense of what's going on now. He was given a forewarning that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I don't have anything for or against him. He was completely leftist at one time. He wrote novels about how he was a sex addict.
Yeah.
Not novels, tell-alls or whatever you call them, memoirs. But they were pushing girls into his lap, and now all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh, he slept with an underage girl or whatever," and it wasn't even an underage girl. It's like 16,
which is legal in England.
Well, it's legal in this state. It's legal in several states. I don't approve of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like, hey, 31-year-olds and 16-year-olds are made for each other. But it wasn't illegal, and nobody had a problem with it at the time that all this stuff was going on.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, they've got a problem with it.
Yeah, I kind of think that anyone that used to associate him or associate with him, they should all be canceled too, because they aided and abetted him.
Well,
you're going to cancel him.
I saw somebody say
all of his handlers, everyone that worked with him.
Not only did they aid and abet him, or they abet him, they actually, it's more aiding. They pushed it on him. They were pushers. They knew he was addicted, and they brought these people into him. Does that make it right? I'm not saying it does.
Right.
I don't think that if with the Me Too movement nobody came forward against him when it was the strongest,
right,
and they're coming forward against him now, it's mighty coincidental that he's tearing down the media's lies now.
Right. And what's interesting is, if you really think about it, like he's admitted to some things, right? Like, I used to do terrible things. I had a problem. I sought help. Like, nobody forced help on him. It wasn't like he was convicted and had to go to some therapy or whatever. He did that on his own, didn't he? So here's a guy who tried.
Remember, like I said, I didn't find him at all. I don't know all the information. I do know that he came forward. What they started shutting him down on his social media apps for is because he came forward on those apps and said, yes, I was a sex addict. I fully admit I was a sex addict, but this stuff is live, and it's some of it outright silly, he said. You know, did you watch the video?
No, I've read about it.
It's like one of the only ones that I've watched. Like, you're not going to be able to find it now, obviously, but
that's probably on Rumble.
Nope, they canceled him on Rumble too. That's the letter that.
Really?
Yeah, you can see. Hold on a second. I'm going to send you that. No, wait a minute. I'll just post it here. I will share it with my share function, as long as I'm pissing people off left and right. Right?
I guess.
Well, I guess. What the heck? The music just slogged on me, like it was getting wound up in a tape that's getting eaten or something like that. But that couldn't be possible because it's on the tape. Everyone under the age of 30 is like, what? A what? Well, maybe that's why I can't find my messages now.
I see the video on Rumble that says, so this is happening.
There, okay. I'm not opening this in the new tab.
And according to The Guardian, video platform Rumble rejects MP's call to demonetize Russell Brand.
What's that?
Rumble's... So I just Googled Russell Brand in Rumble.
Okay.
And so I'm just reading headlines from The Guardian. Video platform Rumble rejects MP's call to demonetize Russell Brand. From Forbes.
I sent the letter to you right now on Discord. I'd share it, but I'd have to enlarge it, and you wouldn't see it anyway. I mean, I'd have to enlarge it and then scroll down. And
okay.
I'm waiting for this to dry so I can add the next layer, because I'm actually getting down to business. It's so weird that the thicker paint dries already, and then some of it. Similar. Weird. Now, it doesn't say that he's canceled. That is the official letter.
Right. That's not from Rumble.
No, it's to Rumble.
Right. Rumble didn't cancel.
Yeah, I saw, like I said, I saw a video head on that.
Oh, I just closed Discord.
What's that?
I just closed my Discord. I never close Discord.
Well, I do sometimes.
There it is. A little comforting icon on my desktop. I don't see it. Oh, that's okay. Anyway. So, talk about more things I can't get too in detail about. I asked my boss, basically, if I could, our school mascot, whatever, I'm kind of in charge of getting him places and whatnot, helping him get dressed and all that kind of stuff. And I thought this, I was like, he needs to have his own social media. Like, not from me, per se. Like, I don't want to be, I'll run it, I don't mind, but I just think that he needs it. Like he should have the mascot should be on Instagram. The mascot should be on Facebook. Like, just another outreach from the school, right? Mm-hmm. And I talked about it with the superintendent. He used to be my principal. He's a cool guy. Always liked him. He's like, yeah, that's a great idea. And he told me to get in contact with, and I got in contact with her about, doing this. And she's like, don't set up anything on your own, which I already knew not to do because, I don't own the mascot. I can't, I get it. Plus they have to approve, I'm sure they have to make sure that whatever message it is approved.
I mean, it's a good idea to do it, even if it wasn't a message, if it was like a school spirit thing,
Yeah,
from the games and all the things that the mascot would actually be employed for, or their with, whatever.
Because there's a lot of stuff that the mascot does that a lot of people don't actually know. Like, he's gone to birthday parties, he's gone to, no, he hasn't gone to birthday parties, but he's been at a funeral before. He's been at class reunions. He's been to lots of different things. And then I also, I've got pictures of him. He was at a cross-country thing. And, cross-country being the most exciting sport in the history of never. He had plenty of time to just kind of... Cross-country is boring, man. It is.
I didn't hear what you said. That's where I heard the history of never. That's about what I heard.
Oh, well, cross-country is the most exciting sport in the history of never.
Oh, okay.
So he had plenty of time for pictures. He was by a duck pond. I got pictures. It looks kind of like you could put it up on a dating profile or something, which is actually where I got the idea that, I can make some fun Instagram posts about, waiting for waiting for my team or waiting for the next game or whatever. Just fun little Instagram pics.
Waiting for the other team to score.
Yeah, something. I got a picture, last week, we at the football game, the opposing team brought their mascot to our game, which is cool, whatever. But apparently, it was it was the third time for this person in the suit ever. And it's this little girl, and she couldn't handle the heat.
She came under the pressure.
Well, it's just those suits get hot, and the opposing team had the one that's like all fur feet, fur hands. I mean, it's just, plus this big giant head. I mean, I felt bad for her, and we didn't know she was having a hard time, and our
that makes
mascot
it worse, right?
well, so our mascot walked over to kind of play around with their mascot a little bit, and she's just laying on the ground because she's just too hot. She's overheated. And so later on, like, she got out of the costume and was like, yeah, I'm done with this. But she was talking to our mascot, and so I got a good picture of that, and I just, just a cute picture. I sent it to their school, just let them know. I was like, hey, just cute little picture. Just, I don't know who the girl is. I don't really care, but, whatever. Just fun, good things that I think should be on. Or we had like pictures with the fire department. It's just different things like that. So I've inquired about it, and the response I got back from the woman who I have to talk to was like, well, let me look into it. Like, what is there to look into? Like, it's not that hard.
Well, legality is that you almost can guarantee that it's got something to do with the legality.
Well, I understand they'd be worried about what gets posted.
And appropriate for kids, and
oh, I know.
Such a weird thing that they consider appropriate and inappropriate for kids these days.
I get it. That's like the mascot had to go to a class reunion, and for some reason they thought it was not a kid in the suit. They thought it was an adult in the suit.
Yeah. And
they were trying to get pictures of him with alcohol. I was like, no. I cut that off fast. It's like, he is not holding alcohol. He is not going to be over by the bar. Nope. And they're like, we'll delete the pictures. I'm like, no, you won't. Not before you share them. And then all of a sudden it ends up on Channel 27 News that our mascot is seen holding alcohol bottles, and, I'm getting fired. The kid's getting in trouble. Like, no, not good. And I can see all that stuff pretty well. So, like, I get, like, there is some concern with social media, but it shouldn't be that. I mean, again, we have a Facebook page. We have stuff. This is just an addition to it. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's a playful addition. I think it's a cool idea, but
well, we'll see.
Just me.
I just think, I understand that the mascot's there for sports.
I was also waiting for Bonar to show up.
Well, I would like that too, except for the person who has to do it, because I can't do the voice, doesn't want to do it. After I put in a good hunk of money.
Right.
I'm glad I didn't get too far into it, because I buy like a whole bunch of cameras and lights and all that kind of stuff. But although I've seen something, I'll have to look into it. There may be a way of doing this with AI. Because they have, like, Reels is going to start having something where you can make stuff with AI. I saw a thing for it would make videos for you. I'm like, all right, if I had enough control,
because they're trying to make that illegal.
Well, I get that, but
that's what the whole writer's strike is over, because and there's a huge lawsuit going around.
I know.
I saw it in a different source that it's not just people that write novels, it's people that write poetry, people that write anything, because and it's standing up for your rights, because they can basically take your material and it'll show up in a story that you didn't consent to, because it's an AI. They can get away with it. And that's what they're trying to put a stop to. And if they win their lawsuit, the way I understand it, they'll have to retract everything that was entered in the AI without permission.
Well,
suing the company that did it in the first place,
yeah,
I can't. I don't want to be completely quoted on it, but I know what I said. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. Part of me just thinks, like, obviously, I'm writing. You know, I got published before AI came out. You know, I hope to be published after AI is around. And my thing is, okay, yeah, there's some aspects of the language that, you know, if I'm writing and it's my language, I get it, but the intellectual property is still mine, and that's probably where the real money is, not with how necessarily, you know, not for genre fiction.
A copyright, but whenever AI produces something, so I don't know about you, but I spend a long time sometimes trying to come up with the right simile. I mean, I want that simile to be my character's simile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His wording, his way of thinking. And if that simile should pop up in something else that's AI generated, I certainly will feel cheated. And I think I'd have every right to. Because I worked my ass off for that simile. And you know how often we get paid for all the work that we do creating a simile, picking the right name, picking the right, you know what I'm saying, that we were just talking about earlier. All those choices that we make, that we agonize over, you and I, and every other writer that agonizes over any of these types of things, right?
Right.
Shouldn't have our stuff just put out there in the public domain for anybody and everybody to use, just so long as if they don't make money off it. Well, I'm not making money off of it either, because then they're going to go, oh, this looks exactly like what I saw in Cat or Cat PT or whatever the fuck it is. I don't use any of that stuff, any of it. So, although it's been added to my browser, as if they're trying to push it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. We did too much work to get some of this stuff done, to get some of this stuff out there in the world. We're not supposed to think of stories as our babies. We're supposed to go on and write the next story, right? But it kind of does feel like somebody's kidnapping your kid. Now, if your kid did something wrong, everybody would point it out, right? And I'm talking about a story. I'm using the same allegory. If your story did something that was unacceptable, everybody would out you for it. If chatbot steals your shit or whatever, your Chat PT or whatever, steals your shit and uses it for something wrong, then it's not going to be at fault. But you will. Your words will. And yeah, I mean, to a degree, we can't stop what's happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not going to be able to go, don't like it? Nope, you can't do it. Unless we win this lawsuit, we, as in writers. win this lawsuit that disallows one to use our work without our express permission. And that actually is how it should be, right? That's what a copyright's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So if some company wants to say, "Oh, I can do this AI," no, you can't without using my work without permission. That's totally a true fact. I can see why they're getting upset over it. I think it's legitimate. For me, I'm still writing. You know, like, I won't stop writing because that's what I love to do.
Right.
I'm not going to stop writing to prove that they shouldn't take my writing. That seems like it's
I think people are going to have to learn how to use AI in an ethical way. Like, I don't think it's going to go away, and I've just resigned myself to the fact that...
Yeah, I don't think you're going to use it in an ethical way. I think you're always going to have people that use it however they're going to use it. I think
that's true with everything, though. I mean, that's just... I can't stop it.
That is why I'm saying that, because I do believe that's true of everything. I don't believe that we have an answer. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe we have an alternative. We either accept it or we get pissed about it and it happens anyway. We can sue people, but it ain't going to stop people from doing it. That's exactly what I meant to do. I wanted to put my thumbprint in this already. I have learned through trial and error that this stuff tastes like shit. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to stop it. We're not gonna be, like I said before, you can't legislate good behavior.
Right.
What you can do is make it litigious. Right?
Right.
That's all you can do. Make it available for us to be able to sue people to take our shit without permission. Yeah. And I think that's really the end goal, because they can't stop it. They gotta know they can't stop it.
Yeah.
Any science fiction and fantasy writer worth his salt knows they ain't gonna be able to be stopped. The future is the future, whether you like it or not. But we should be able to earn stuff on our work and be sure that our jobs aren't being lost for, I guess, however you want to put it, like our jobs aren't being lost to people that are stealing our work. You don't want to lose out your ability to publish in a magazine because somebody put Hemingway's work into an AI bot, and they produced a Hemingway-ish story on the same vein that you're writing, right?
Right.
That feels like it would be keeping us out of what we worked so hard for. It's a hard subject. I mean, like, I sympathize with kind of everybody involved to a point, but only to a point. Like, if somebody's saying that they can't understand the writer's point of view, then I don't think that they're in the right. They can't be in the right, because they're not taking the people's consideration. They're just taking only the consideration of the things that they want to get out of it.
Right.
That changes things. So
Well, again, I understand the. I mean, I understand the concern. I don't know how big of a problem it's going to be. And I keep thinking, again, the intellectual property. Well, it's kind of like, I don't know if this is apocryphal or not, but supposedly, when they were filming Star Wars, right? And Mark Hamill, when they get out of the trash compactor, he's like, shouldn't there be stuff in my hair and be all messy and wet and gross? And Harrison Ford said, it's not that kind of movie. If they're paying attention to your hair, we have much bigger problems. And that's kind of how I feel with intellectual properties. If there's no difference in your intellectual property from an AI created one, then you've got a problem with your intellectual property. Like, your intellectual property should be better than derivatives.
Until they start getting to a point where a computer can do things that people can't do, and how do they explain it? You're saying it's derivative, but everything that we possess in this language is derivative. Everything.
Right, which is, I think the AI can handle.
A computer can be programmed to out-derivative us. That's what I'm saying, I guess, is that it's not. It's not really fairly depicting it to say that if you can't write better than an AI, then you got a bigger problem, because how many ideas are out there and how many ideas are original, right? And how many takes on them are original? How many times you rename a character because you found out it's too close to something else? Well, when AI starts being able to create those things like that, then they start taking the ability for you to do that away from you too, right? Is that then the same case? Should you be able to come up with something better than AI when you already did and they just took it?
And I don't think as it stands now, I don't think AI can do that.
It will in a year. It will in 2.
Well,
I won't be surprised at all. Look at the advancements that they came from just a year. Some pretty incredible advancements for the time period that they've advanced in. It's naive to think that they won't be able to be advanced enough to do what you or I can do. The only thing that they can't do is draw on our experiences. What they can draw on a vast pool of somebody else's already expressed experience. If that makes any sense. Yeah, they don't have access to what they don't have access to, but once they have access to that, that's a tool in their belt too,
Oh, and by the way, in case anyone watches this and later on says that I'm advocating for AI, I'm not. I'm saying
no,
I'm not as.
We're talking about what's realistic.
Yeah, and I'm just, again, I think you should be writing your own stuff. I think it's more rewarding that way. I think it's a better product, so. And
I'm not saying that somebody that's not writing a story or trying to tell a story can't use AI as an effective tool. And I actually, for a while there, I was like, yeah, you really can't. But I've been shown ways artistically that you can use AI as a tool to better your art.
Yeah.
So I don't separate. It's going to sound weird, but I don't separate this kind of art from writing. It's just a different medium. Where I sketch, you sketch too. You may not sketch with a pencil, but you come up with ideas that you work out and you perfect, right? So it's no different. And I've been shown a way to, give an idea or express some ideas so that you can lay them out quicker and then do it your own way,
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different that way. It's not the same at all. So I guess I want to put that out there, is that there is legitimate ways to use AI to better your human skills. And I know that it sounds fucked up, but it's true. I really kind of believe that there is a point where there's a point that you shouldn't go beyond. And then there's a point that you should be welcome to go up to,
Yeah.
Everyone has the same ability to play with those things. Everyone has the same I don't know what you call it, like, not just ability. I mean, there's nobody who can't use an AI to get an idea refined. That probably still doesn't sound like what I'm trying to say, but
I think what you're trying to say.
I refine my ideas on paper. I can look at them and go, oh, delete,
Well, I mean, I might be putting words in your mouth, but let me try anyway.
Okay, now I'm a character.
Yeah. I liken it to. I mean, I suppose I could see it being used kind of like a sounding board. If you don't have, like you're just playing around with an idea to kind of see where it might go.
How about prompt?
Huh?
Prompt. PROMPT. How about that? How about using ChatGPT or AI for a prompt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a sounding board. Like you're not really sure. You have maybe some ideas, and you say, well, and get a prompt, get something to respond to, get something to
when you
kind of get juices flowing. I can see that.
That's what I'm saying. When you put down, if you're using it for a prompt, and you're not
just copying and pasting into a Word document.
Right. Yeah. If you're going, oh yeah, that's a good idea. If I did this and this to it, if you're using it for something to generate ideas, here's for instance. How many times you've been reading a book and you're going, man, I want to do that. I want to do something like that. You don't want to do that, but you want to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
I've done that a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do something like that. I'm not going to actually write that book. That would be, plagiarism. But you gotta quit doing that. Everything wants to stick to the paint. I'm not even ready for that. Right now I gotta let it dry for a little bit before I can do the clouds. So yeah, I mean, it basically is a prompt if you're using it for ideas, even if you're using it to sketch. Like you can, how does AI work, right? How does AI work if you're wanting to use it at all?
Right now, it's not really AI. It's a large language model. It's not true AI because, yeah. Well,
I'm not saying it's true AI. I'm just saying how do you use it right now if you wanted to do something like say either A, writing or to produce a picture. How do you use it?
Well, I think the pictures are even murkier, but I don't know. And I know because I played around with Midjourney, and you're right. You know, it pulls stuff from other people. It's kind of my idea, you know, but it's pulling stuff from all these other things, and which is kind of what people do anyway. But
so
it's more direct, whereas I have to
put in prompts, right?
Yeah.
And then it takes those prompts and interprets them into stuff like pictures or whatever, right?
Right, and it never does it right.
I don't care. That's not what I'm getting at.
That's fine. I was just making a joke.
What I'm getting at though is that, say, you have an idea for a plot, but it's loose, right?
Yeah.
You can give that a prompt, what your basic idea is for a plot, right? And it'll write something out for you, correct?
Yeah.
And you use that as a jumping board, and then you go, okay, this plus this, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of work out an outline or even a loose outline if you want. With that, it's the same thing with a painting, and that's one of the ideas that I was getting is that you can use a prompt to help you develop your writing, but you can also, as in a painting, you can give them a loose idea of what you're thinking of, and it'll give you a setup. It'll give you a color scheme. It'll give you, you know what I mean? It may not be what you want, but you can get like 3 or 4 pictures from one set of prompts, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so you're looking at those pictures as ideas. You're not looking at them as using the picture. You're looking at them as ideas for you to use for pictures. So it's the same thing. Like if I'm not distinguishing writing from painting, or writing from drawing or whatever, you're creating a composition based on a series of prompts that you basically organize that way.
Okay. Hold on a second.
I can paint in wet on wet, but I'm not going to. I'm not quite dry there. Ooh, that's tacky.
Sorry, the wife was coming in.
Right?
She was talking. My wife was talking. I didn't know if she was talking. I thought she was talking to me. She was
Right.
talking to my dog.
Well, she knew where to find the dog, right?
Well, the funny part is she told the dog to get the heck out of the room. And so the dog hopped off the bed and just walked over to me like, Daddy will protect me. And I'm like, well, as long as you're not on the bed, if you want to,
Right. You know where the dog is.
If I could train her to lay on my feet in winter while I wrote, this would be the greatest dog ever. She was already pretty darn amazing.
So basically, you can just kill it, skin it, and make slippers out of it, and you'd be the greatest dog ever. I kind of feel that way about some things also. Use up all this glue.
Yeah.
This stuff's not cheap.
Your audio's coming through weird.
It's probably because my fan's on and I'm a little bit away from the mic. I don't have my actual mic plugged in.
Oh.
I'm using my laptop mic, what I've been using for a while.
Oh, it just now. I mean, it just started.
Because I just got close enough to say that, right?
Oh, well, it's just gurgly. I don't know.
Let me plug my other mic in. Let's see how we do.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that it probably will not go well. Because last time I had it plugged in. How about this?
Say something.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
I can't hear you at all with it.
Oh, well, that's not good. I mean, now you're muted. I can be the voice of Rich. Oh.
Get your head if you can hear me.
I heard you just now.
Yeah, with that mic plugged in, I can't even
Heard that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Now you sound fine.
Yeah, because I canceled that mic and I'm back on my laptop mic.
Well, I don't know. Who
I
knows?
stopped using that mic because, and that's not a cheap mic, but I stopped using that mic because when I was using it before, everybody was like, "Oh, it's making weird noises and stuff." So.
Hey, I'm going to take a quick break, okay?
I thought I was going to maybe end this stream a little bit early because it's been 2 hours and I have to wait for all this stuff to dry before I can continue.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like it's drying really fast.
Yeah.
I've got a fan blowing on it too, so it should be drying a lot faster than it is. So, but I want to put the clouds in, and I can't put the clouds in until all this stuff dries because the clouds don't run horizontally. They're going to run so that we're continuing the theme of all the lines heading towards her.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it just depends on, how long you want to be on. I just...
You need to run to the bathroom or something?
Yeah.
Well, run to the bathroom. Like, I'm still going to be letting this dry for a few because I can't do anything.
All right. Well,
that is water. Grab some more paper towels so I can clean. This is not the sky, this is the first part of the sky, and that's important to know. Because if you're doing the process that I'm doing, you're going to build up this sky, you're going to build up these colors. Like with this particular frame of acrylics, you're not going to get a opaque first pass. You have to build it up. And I'm fine with that. Once you mix that white in there, like I did with the blues, that's much stronger, but it's still not opaque the first time over. That's several passes, as you saw. And then when this all dries, I'm going to go in this V formation with the clouds. And I'm going to be putting something across the bottom here. I just wanted to mirror it enough to look mirrored until I do. And I'm going to use some reference, which is always great to use, to see what setting sun like that, the colors use the water. I'm gonna, I think, get into some purples as I'm going here too. That's probably going to be more in the clouds than anything else. I don't know if you can me or not. I got nobody here to gauge by. One cool thing about this method, for anyone that's wanting to try this out, is that all of this is kind of like latex, and in the end, you'll just peel that right up. Like, you don't even see the axe and you don't see your arm and all that, but I'll peel that up and you'll see that later on. But that's the whole purpose that I painted that on first, just so that I could paint over without having to worry about it.
Are you talking to yourself again?
Yeah, well, hopefully not someday. I'm talking to the future.
Talking to all your friends?
Yeah, probably. Probably. I think that's one thing that I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of a detractor about the Golden Opens is that even though they stay wet like that, so that I can mix and blend and come back in easy and reactivate a little bit.
Yeah.
They take so long to dry, so that I can't just go over it with another coat. So I'm gonna have to. I think the next time I play around with some Goldens. I've got some Goldens that are not Golden Opens. I think I'm going to play around with them on maybe a smaller piece just to get an idea. See how quick they dry. Because I remember when I used to work with acrylics, didn't used to have anything like Golden Opens at the time that I was working with them. So but I also wasn't trying to blend. I was, painting side by side colors.
Yeah.
Or layering in from less opaque to more opaque, but not thinning. It was just the way the colors worked, and mixing them a little bit so that there'd be, I'd put red over something and then red over that red, and red over that red to get stages of red. I'm used to kind of layering it in, but not being able to blend it and then have to wait to blend it more. It's always weird to me to know that this is just a background sky, and I'm going to put stuff in front of it, so it doesn't have to be as perfect as I want it to be. I always want it to be perfect,
Yeah.
It's teaching me a lot about patience, this series. Between the Cthulhu painting and this one and the last one, I really, really like the way they've been turning out. You just have to, you have to persevere, which is a big part of it. I guess it's a big part of painting in general, but especially with something that's you can blend so easy, but it takes so long to dry, so that you can't just layer right over it and go to the next thing. Even with oils, like I can go to the next thing, and if I don't like it, I can push and pull it away. I can add a color and change the color. And as long as each stroke, like you have a certain color there or whatever, and you want to go over it, even with wet, you can go over it with the next color. You just can't go back, because if you go one way, it's just laying down the color, but if you go back, it's blending it. So this one's different. It's difficult to get that layer, difficult to get can't just get a solid opaque layer and then blend into it. It takes a lot of patience to get there. I might start using regular Goldens for the backgrounds and stuff, so I can get that done quicker. And then use the opens on top. But I do like how the opens, when they dry matte. There's not really a whole lot of high glare and shine off of them.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some, and the thicker you make them, obviously it's going to have that too. But yeah, I am going to end it. 2 hours, and I can't do anything more. And it's going to be a while before it dries, and I don't want to talk for an hour so that I can paint for 2 more hours and then go, I'm by myself again. I can hang out with my best friends without this being on, apparently. Alright, anyone that has watched, is watching in the future, thank you for watching. This is our first stage of the sky. It's basically blocking. I was hoping to get more done in the sky because I was hoping this would go quicker and it would dry faster. But lesson learned. Well, no, I mean that's the only way to put it, right? I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot. I actually been thinking about getting an airbrush just for doing the backgrounds, just to do the background layer.
Yeah.
Because that would be a lot faster coverage. I'm not fighting with the brush to get it blend smooth and all that. And then I can just blend on it after it's done. Which I could even, like, if I get the background all in and I know the color scheme from top to bottom, I can do that and then add the stencil afterwards. I just didn't want to invest in an airbrush for nothing. I have one around somewhere, but I don't know where.
It's almost useful.
Yeah, like I've had it for 25 years maybe. I've used it a couple of times and I didn't understand how to use it, and at the time that I got it there wasn't a lot of tutorials that you could find just online, you know?
Right.
And everyone I talked to, nobody wanted to tell me. Either that or they didn't know, they used a different method. But I'm seeing a lot of guys using airbrushes for backgrounds and splatter effects and whatnot, so that's something I've been thinking really heavily about. The more commissions that I'm going to get or going to take, then that's what I'm going to do, and invest in a good one-use airbrush for that, you know? Like, it's not something that I can do a lot of fine work with, just the blending work, loosely blending work. So yeah, anyway, anyone that's watched the whole time, listened to us, thank you. If you like watching the process, you like being part of it, hit like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you know when we're doing the next video, if you don't catch one of the 17 places I posted. Feel free to talk. Feel free to stop in and say stuff or comment on the videos. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the night anyway. Good night. God bless. We love you all.
Peace.